and welcome to our hard hat ceremony. The first thing that I want to say about this group is that they had a real tough way to go over the last year and a half. This COVID pandemic has really just shot us all in the foot. I guess it was March the 12th last year, we just shut down. We thought when we left here on March the 12th that a couple weeks we'd be back. Didn't happen that way. So these guys were getting ready to start into some of the fun stuff in their junior year. The seniors last year didn't get to finish anything. They didn't really even come close to finishing their project stuff. We were able to get a hard hat ceremony outside. We had to have all the spacing. It was a real struggle to put together. This year, these guys, when we talked about it coming in, our main goal was to get them to understand what the basics were to develop a problem, know the process to solve that problem, understanding how to get to building a prototype, how to test what their resolution to the problem was, and then to present. We didn't quite get there. We didn't get to the construction of the prototype. But I told these young men that I was so proud of what they accomplished, because everything that I asked them to do in terms of understanding the process, they were able to do. And that was a really promising thing to see, because there are so many students that we have, not in our own district, but in other districts around the nation, that just gave up. And I will tell you, these guys didn't. So what I would ask you to do is to just recognize them by giving them a big hand, big round of applause. And so I got through that without being very emotional, didn't I? It's going to get there. We did have some fun. I want to share a few little things, a few little tidbits as we go along here tonight. But when we talk about the hard hats, these seniors, they had to actually finish a pathway, or some actually was able to get through 2 pathways. And they had to successfully complete all those courses for them to qualify for a hard hat. And that in itself, and that's why I go back to the pandemic, that in itself, it was a tremendous feat. Now understand this about this particular, this year. Engineering, Design, and Development course is a capstone course. It's an all-year course, and it's basically in quarters where they have to determine a problem, a real-world problem that they had to solve that interested them, not anything that I would give them. They were going to use all the skills that they had gained all for the previous 3 years, and they weren't going to get much help from Mr. Moulton other than me to guide them through the process. Because by the time they're the seniors, they should know everything. So they had to work to become the content experts. And again, they did a very good job. Considering not most, but a lot of the year, we were hybrid, or we weren't even in the building at all. A lot of that time, we were virtually working totally. And these guys had to connect on their own because I forced it on them. I said, look, I'm going to provide the videos, I'm going to provide the process. If you have access to me anytime that you need it, I can't tell you when and how you guys are going to have to work in your groups. So it sort of put the onus back on them, and they did a good job. Now, guys, was it a little bit difficult to get everybody together? But hey, it's real world. How many of you work in an organization where you have to work with someone from another state or another county or wherever, and you don't meet face to face all the time? So this was a good practical scenario for us to go through. Guys, you'll be doing that more and more. If you choose to continue down this path of engineering, you'll do that more and more. And so you have some good experience behind you, okay? So the curriculum that we use was Project Lead the Way, and it's a nationally accredited curriculum. So not only I didn't just teach one way, I taught the way that Project Lead the Way teaches in every district in the nation. So Texas taught the same thing that we taught if they taught these schools. So they are going to be on par, and I would dare say in some cases well above some of the other states and those students, because we were fortunate enough in Kentucky to get back face to face a little more than a lot of states. So I think that they're going to benefit from that as well. Yet it was definitely tough, right guys? So I want us to see, these guys know I just love drama and I have a flair for the dramatic, but I'm not going to go overboard tonight, okay? I am going to show you a short little video. How did we get here? And what a way to finish the year, right? And we're going to get to the presentation of hard hats here. But let me just say this before we go on, and I'm speaking to you guys. There were times in your 4 years that you probably wondered why in the world you took Mr. Moulton's class. There were times in the last 4 years that I wondered, what am I going to do with this guy? Yet you persevered, you stuck with it. I think you learned quite a bit, whether you honestly think you did or not. You've proven it to me. And so when you move on into your next phase, I know you're probably getting sick of hearing this, I want you to always remember that you can, because you have, all right? And you may not hear this from a lot of teachers, hopefully you do, but when it comes to gaining an appreciation for the students and what you go through each and every day, what you do on and off the practice fields, what you do in band and chorus or choir, orchestra, whatever, that's a tremendous challenge for young people. I don't know that all of us adults truly understand that. And then when you throw in COVID-19 and all the things that go on with it, and how that affects not only them, but you as well, how it affects the teachers, how it affects the administrators. You know, we think that everything's just going to go on as normal. It can't be normal. But we can make it as normal as possible, and I think we did a pretty good job. But my thanks is to this group, because they made something that was so difficult, instead of doing things once, teachers did things mostly 3 times. But you made it easier for me. And so I thank you. I want you to know that you can always call me, come and see me. If you just need to say, Mr. Moulton, you remember when? I got to get this off my chest. We won't do that tonight. I don't want to get embarrassed, but there were times when I'm sure that I was hard on some of you. And there were times when maybe you needed it. But there were times when you guys pulled me out of the doldrums. And don't know that I've ever said that to you, but you did. So I thank you for that. Okay? So let's move on. As I call your name, come and get your hard hat. Isaac is not here, so we'll get Isaac's his. But Isaac completed 2 pathways, automation engineering, which is the standard pathway, and then engineering design if you took a computer science course as well. Jansen. Yep, give you a hand. If y'all want to take pictures now, you can. I'll step out. I'll get my picture with them later. Get a good one now. Oh, Jansen, you've got one more piece of something that you earned. Let's give it to you. I got to talk about this a bit. Jansen also passed industry certification exam, Autodesk Inventor, certified user. Jansen, was it tough? Yeah. It was tough, wasn't it? Guys, was it tough? Yeah. It was tough. So, and that's another, and these guys, they took a lot of time to kind of work through it. They could only study that here because they had to have the software. And so if they weren't here because of us being out and about, time was shortened. And so it made it a lot more difficult for them. So Jansen, congratulations on that. Well earned. Nate. We have to say something else about Nate. What do we need to say about Nate, Drew?
Region champ, babe.
Yeah, this is yours too. Nate, when is the state?
June 1st.
June 1st. So Mr. Cobb and Mr. Campbell will be representing Mason County at the state tennis championships. And it's going to be where at?
Pretty sure it's at like UK.
UK. Awesome. And we kind of knew that was going to happen, didn't we, guys? We kind of felt that. So we kind of planned this event around some of that stuff. So, Parker.
Well done.
Now I got to tell why this picture. I heard you say why that picture. I asked Parker a week ago to get me a picture. Last night at 11:30, I texted him again. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I already had the presentation done, so I went on Mom's Facebook page and found a good picture. I thought it was appropriate. Jake. My guy here is going to hit 100 miles an hour when? Tomorrow.
Jake, getting all angles here, aren't we? Thank you.
Jake has grown like 6 feet since I'd known him as a freshman when he came in. Ethan, Big Chungus. Now, if that needs to be explained, I'll let him do it. So, let's see, Eric. Nope. But Eric did well, and he had got 2 completed pathways: automation engineering and engineering design. Chance. There you go, Chance. Congratulations, bud. Let's get him a good picture. Angel. I thought the picture, man, was just awesome. It was really, really, really good. I liked it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, not like at graduation where I forgot to take it off. That happened.
One more piece of paper. Angel also took the industry exam and was certified in Autodesk Inventor as a certified user, just like Jansen. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Connor. Story time.
Story time.
Congratulations. Let's get his picture and I'll share the story. So I don't know if you know or not, Connor is a swimmer. For a while last year, was it last year? We had an indoor swimming pool in my graphics lab. Did he tell you?
No.
This is going to be good. So we have a hydro dip tank which holds a lot of water. And we put a printed film in it. We spray an activator on it. And we can put anything in it and dip it and that pattern comes off on whatever we're dipping. We were finished, and the project for the day was to drain the water out of the tank. Now, unfortunately, with the way we were having to do it was to get 5-gallon buckets and dip it out and pour it in the sink because we didn't have a proper drain. One of my engineers said, "Mr. Moulton, we can make this go a lot faster." He said, "You see that PVC pipe over there?" I said, when he said that, I knew. I said, "Yeah, I see that, Connor. Well, I'm going to make a drain. I'm going to open the valve. I'm going to push this pipe up in the valve and drain it into the bucket, and we won't have to do all this." I said, "No, that's not going to work." Well, someone had to see me in another classroom. So I stepped out of the classroom, was gone no more than 5 minutes, and as I turned to come back across the hall, I saw other students bailing out of the room. They didn't say, when they saw me, they didn't say a thing. When I stepped in the room, water, no kidding, was up to the soles of my shoes, all the way through, going under the wall into my computer lab, and there was Connor trying his best to stop the water. Well, what he had done was he did jam that PVC pipe in, but when he saw that it was going to not work, he tried to shut the valve. Guess what was blocking the hole? That PVC pipe. Well, it shocked him, I guess, and now you just have to jump in if I'm going on too much with it, but he couldn't get it to turn off. So here I go, wading up to my hips now in water, not quite, and we finally got it shut out. He had to first pull the pipe out to get the valve shut. But it's the only time we ever had an indoor pool that I know at Mason County. So, but I gave him a hard time for about 3 weeks or so, but that was it. Didn't go too much longer than that. So that's one thing I'll remember always. Braden. Braden is a young man that I didn't get to spend a lot of time with this year because he was virtual, but Braden done well, virtual. Good to see you tonight. Stice. Tyler, you finally get it. There you go. And he got that shiner. I can maybe Photoshop it or something, but you're good. And last but not least, Drew. Let me just tell you, this group was fun, to say the least. They were fun. They were a little quiet when they first came in as freshmen, but I was able to see very quickly who their buddies were. They sort of like to get into buddies. I think Nate and Stice, first year or so, I was really on you guys to quit talking during class. Would you just listen? And so, but they found out, and the way I work it is as they become sophomores, juniors, seniors for sure, they get a lot of leeway in my class. Because my expectations at that point are they know the ropes. They know to be young men or young women. They know where everything's at. I should be able to say, just like on a job, this needs to be done. Please do it. And that should happen. And so I spent 26 years in industry. And I tried to set up the way I teach to mimic industry in a lot of ways. They've heard probably some of my horror stories about industry. It can be tough. Those of you who maybe work in industry, it can be tough. It's a real world, and it's a tough world. But these guys are prepared. They are ready, no doubt in my mind. And really, guys, I do want you to, at any point in time in the future, if you just want to talk, I'm ready for that. You know, you guys kept me pretty young, and so I have to feed off of that now for my next group's coming in. But I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how successful you are, because you're going to be. I want to know if you need help of any kind, and if I can provide it at all, I will do that gladly. That's what I do, okay? Just because you're graduating and you're leaving my classes doesn't mean I forget about you, all right? And again, you might want to practice this right now, okay? You can say Tim when you address me. So if you want to practice that, 1, 2, 3. What's it feel like?
It doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right? No, but it does to me. That's a rite of passing, as far as I'm going to leave you with some words of wisdom from Mr. Moulton.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
Did you recognize the guy? Can you believe that? Hey, yo, what? All right, so let me tell you. These guys, I really meant it when I said these guys kept me young. I don't know what I'm going to do this summer without getting to see them. So we may have to have a wiffle ball game or something. So we didn't get to do that this year, but we'll do something. All right, guys? Parents, anything you want to say to them while we have them cornered for now? Okay, guys, if you would then, I want you to come up now and sign my hat, my hard hat, okay? And don't run out without doing that. It's important. It's important to me. And then I want a group picture. We need to either do it here lined up, or we can go out there somewhere if we need to. But I do want your hats on when we do the group picture.